I feel terrible. My foot hurts, Dan. I messed it up. We went on this hike that was 18 miles straight up, I think, give or take. And I thought I was going to die. Dan. Can you see my sunburn?
Yeah, my leg's been...
I was wearing sunglasses, so I have like a sunburn line. I don't know if you can tell.
You look pasty as ever.
You son of a bitch. How dare you?
Minnesota pasty.
Minnesota pale.
Hey, watch him with Dan and Tony. Hey, watch him with Dan and Tony. It's like watching, yeah.
Oh, welcome to Hate Watching with Dan and Tony. I'm Dan.
I'm Tony.
And on this show, I think this is the part where I do this show. On this show...
Yeah, this is always the part. Yeah, let's do it.
We watch a movie. And this week, I got to pick a movie, and I picked the movie Solarbabies, which I only had a very cursory knowledge of.
You did?
I'd heard
I've never heard of this before. I have never heard of this movie. When you brought it up, we had to go to IMDb because I was like, this is not a movie. But it is, and it's great. Yes. And I'm sorry I haven't seen it sooner.
Yes, so Solarbabies, 1986, hour and 34 minutes, starring people that don't really seem to star in the movie. It's more just a movie about the things that happen to a set bunch of characters. There's no characterization. There's not much.
You don't need it.
There's not much.
With this much roller skating, you don't need characters, baby. This is cool.
Yeah, it's sort of Mad Max meets Starlight Express. That's probably it. Those two things.
Let's take a time out and take a step back, because what is Starlight Express, Dan Goodsell? I've never heard of that before either.
Starlight Express, I think it might be Andrew Lloyd Webber, but it's a stage play where they wore colorful outfits and did a lot of skating.
That sounds terrible. As an actor, that sounds like a horrible show to be in.
I think that they cast the people based on their skill as opposed to their acting.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Acumen.
We didn't do that in this movie because there are some scenes where we see these actors trying to roller skate, and it's not great. It's tough.
I mean, if we want to go back to, I don't know if we talked about this on the last episode where we talked about Shannon being in school with Jason Patrick. She said he tried out for lots of sports, but he wasn't really good at any of them.
Oh, interesting. No, you did not say that last week. Okay.
So.
Oh man, that surprises me a little bit, just like based on his athletic, stature. He looks like he should be good at sports, but he's also, the weird loner guy. So I kind of get it. I feel like he's the guy that wants to be involved, but also is too reserved to really get in there. It's interesting. What an interesting look into this guy's life who I've never met before.
Yeah. So it's, this movie's post-apocalyptic about these kids that are ostensibly in an orphanage, a very open orphanage, an orphanage where you have to dig ditches, sort of.
It's the weirdest orphanage ever.
And they, and then they
and
have to go.
There's so many kids in this orphanage, Dan. There are thousands of kids, and they all seem to be kidnapped. Am I getting that right? That they're all kidnapped children? Where are the parents of these children? Why are they not fighting back? I don't understand. If it was 100 kids that have been kidnapped, it's okay. Maybe they can't, fight the empire. But this is thousands of kids with thousands of parents. No one's rising up to fight this. It's weird. It's a strange setup.
Maybe it's hundreds of kids, but certainly
it felt like a lot more than hundreds of kids.
The hundreds of kids that ostensibly have been kidnapped don't think that there's any place else in the world other than the orphanage.
Other than the fact that they say it. They're like, the outside world. We came from somewhere, but there's nothing out there. It doesn't make sense in a brain.
Typically, when you're kidnapped, you remember a time before, and you're like, oh, we lived in this forest, or this city, or this suburb, or this, on a boat, but none of these kids can say, oh yeah, my mom was like, they all seem like they're kind of like truly no backstory. Well, let's talk a second about Solar Babies, produced by Mel Brooks.
Oh, Mel Brooks. I saw his name pop up, but I was like, I'm not doing research on this movie.
Basically, he sort of found this guy with this sort of treatment, and then he was like, this seems like a good idea. And so he sort of raised some money, and then they got it going, and I think they shot this whole movie in Spain. And
That's a good gig. I'd go shoot in Spain for a couple weeks.
Yeah, and the guy shooting it didn't have any skill or knowledge, and so they brought in another director, and then he was just shooting all sorts of random stuff. And so this whole movie is just sort of a conglomeration of random stuff and random influences, all sort of piled in a big pile that ended up being, turned into a movie, sort of.
Yeah. So here's the thing, Dan. I like the idea of the movie. Sure. I like it. I am confused. It's not fleshed out enough to make sense, right?
No, not even
but
close.
I love this idea of a misfit group of kids who are in some sort of, jail captivity type of thing that rise up, right? That's a classic storyline. I love the sport that they play.
Yep.
This like lacrosse, hockey, I call it lacrosse. And I think it's great.
Yep.
I don't understand why it's in the movie. It should have something more to do with the plot.
Yes.
because it doesn't. And if it did, I think that would be nice. It would be a really fun treat. But they play it once in the beginning and then like once a little bit later and then never again. I don't understand why they're playing the sport. It doesn't have anything to do with why they're in captivity.
Nope.
It doesn't have anything to do with joining the E squad. What are they called? The E police?
The E police, yeah.
The E police. That doesn't seem, because those guys don't seem to be on roller skates. Those guys seem to be walking around, living their lives, killing kids. So I don't understand the sport. I want to understand it. That's the problem. I want it to matter because it's cool.
Well, you also have, at this time period, you have rollerball a few years before this.
James Caan killing the game. Absolutely.
Probably 14 years before this. But yeah, I mean, this movie is just like, well, what else can we, what do we do in a future movie? Well, we do a sport, we do kids, we do roller, just everything can be thrown into this big pot and then they just sort of let it happen.
Yeah, well, they're missing the part where they have to bring those elements together.
Yes.
They're like, they look at other movies and they're like, okay, this works here, let's do those things. But you have to create the web. There has to be the connective tissue because, again, I think it would be cool. What do they call it? Skateball? Is that what they call it? I think they call it skateball. That's a cool sport.
Yeah.
If this movie is better, that sport takes off. I'm telling you right now, people would use lacrosse sticks on roller skates and they would play the shit out of this game. But the movie sucks. The sport doesn't make sense in it, so it never took off. I think they missed a real opportunity here.
They did. And that's what sort of makes this movie both it's terrible, but it's also endearing. Because at least they let's throw all these things and they're kind of weird. And then when it's over, you're going to be like, well, that didn't work. And then
that doesn't make sense. And move on to the next.
But you don't get, it's not like, whatchamacallit, Battlefield Earth, where you get through it and you're just like, I hate these people. These people should be stopped.
One of them in the face. Yeah. Don't ever make movies.
These were just like people with bad ideas that they thought were good ideas. The people that had these ideas, I don't think that they thought they were the greatest ideas ever. They were just like, well, I had some ideas. Here they are.
Here are some ideas. Yeah. let me write down some ideas and we'll use some of them. I don't know.
You get to Tire Town and you're like, well, that is Tire Town.
Oh, Tire Town. What
they're melting down tires to get water or tar or something.
I do not understand what they're doing. I don't know where is it oil? No, I don't know. I have no idea what they're making. I don't know what they're making. I don't know why they're making it. And I don't know why they're getting paid in water.
And
Those are the things I don't understand.
how they're standing in line. How they're standing in line, and then their work is like, then they come out. So all you have to do is stand in line and do something,
Yeah.
and then you get some water. It's
And
not
then
like
you
you
get some
work
water. It's
8
like, okay.
hours. You just
Nope.
stand
Just do
in
one
line.
thing. Yep.
You ring a bell. Yeah, that's your work. You're done.
It doesn't seem that bad, is all I'm saying. I don't know.
No, not the worst thing ever. So we start the titles. There's like this fanfare, and I'm like, oh yeah, this music's gonna be terrible, and then it's terrible, and it's
and then it is.
It's Maurice Jarre, who's like
Okay.
Jean-Michel Jarre's brother, I think, and he's like a real composer. And
which one, the brother or the one that did this movie?
Both.
Okay.
I mean, if you look up Maurice Jarre, I'm sure you will see a very
I'm not
long,
gonna be able to look that up.
A very long list of movies that he scored, and this score is like particularly terrible.
So you're saying Maurice is the one that did this movie?
Yeah.
Maurice did Lawrence of Arabia, Dr. Zhivago, and then a bunch of other old movies The Message, A Passage to India. I'm sure those were great. The Witness with Harrison Ford. I mean, this guy does some good stuff.
I think it was Maurice that did this.
Solarbabies.
And he did Solarbabies, and you're just like, he must have knocked this out in a weekend. Just like, he's on the emulator. There you go.
You'd be like, just print, send it over. I don't care about anything.
We can't pay you much. It's a freebie. I owe you one, Mel Brooks. This one
I don't
you get
care
for free.
about anything right now.
You're fine. He had his 14-year-old child maybe did it, and he's like, yeah, well, I'm gonna charge you some money anyways.
Good enough.
So I believe we live. We get the words. We live in the new time, and I believe it's the year 41.
41, just 41. Yep, just. Here's where that concerns me is like, this is still pretty fresh. Year 41 of whatever happened. It's not even been a generation. Like, the parents of these kids still remember whatever the old world was.
Completely.
I don't know. It's weird because then we talk to the dad later, and he doesn't seem to mention it. He's not like, oh, well, the before time when I was 30 years old and a fully grown adult still. I don't know. It's super strange.
Yeah, it definitely is not. Doesn't you don't start at 41 with your movie? It just
and if you do, we're still in the transition. Like, you're telling me in 41 years we've changed humanity entirely? I don't think so. There would still be things clinging to the past. She has one book. Come on, people would know books. You know what I mean? Like, her parents would have told her stories of books.
Oh, books were outlawed in the orphanage.
We'll talk about that later because I got some problems with the kid, but it's fine. We'll put a pause on that. It's just weird. 41 years is too soon to make it seem like nobody remembers the old world.
And then we're at orphanage 43. So you're like, you can't do it like that.
It's
you
not
can't
even
have a 41 and a
43.
You got to be like, we're in orphanage 7, year 41, year 127, orphanage 9,000. Whatever. You can't have a 41 and a 43.
Well, they build one a year, Dan. You see, and then they've started to ramp up, so they did 2 in the last year.
And the orphanage is there to indoctrinate the children, which I don't think we see any indoctrination, really.
A little in their rec skate time. We'll talk about it more, but the rec skate time, there's like videos, join the E-Police, be all you can be, that sort of thing.
So there, it's the shades of Starship Troopers, we get the fascist culture. I mean, that movie, as everyone has always said, that movie just holds up. You just watch it and you're just like, this is entertaining science fiction. I like everything about it. There's no problems. And then that's what's his name. He went on to make lots of terrible movies, right? Yeah, I think so.
The director of that, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
Whatever. So then we set up, in addition to everything, we have a legend of an alien Bodhi that came or is going to free the waters.
Now, this is confusing again because, again, we're year 41. So what kind of a legend? It's just more of a story that there's something out there, right? Like 41 years isn't really long enough to be like, well, there's a legend of an ancient alien. Nope, it's just like someone saw something fall from the sky 3 years ago, and we've all talked about what it is.
Oh, wow. I thought your thing that you would be angry about was this is not a legend because nobody knows it and nobody ever talks about it.
Well, I mean, you're right. You're absolutely right.
This
like
isn't a legend.
The only person that knows the legend is the guy narrating the story, who, again, I don't know who that is. Who's narrating it to me and why? Who's telling me this story? I have no idea. But he's the only person that knows the legend. That's not a legend. The kids should be around a fire or playing skateball at night. And they're like, oh, have you heard the legend of the orb that came down from the sky? You know, like somebody has to say it in the movie.
So they could have organically talked about the legend, and then we'd have had the legend, sure. And then they would have been like, well, could this be the legend? And they're all like, I don't know.
Right, but no, instead, nobody knows the legend. Some guy, the kid finds a ball, and they're like, what is this? Nobody knows. What kind of a legend is that? Nobody knows it, even when they find it, no one's like, this reminds me of the legend. You could do it that way, too. You could be like remembering, like, oh, yeah, my parents told me of this legend, or some kids were talking about this legend. But nobody knows. It's not a legend. Just say an orb fell from the sky. End of story.
But that would cause them to have to make decisions about what's really what the deal with their parents really is, and people would have to.
I would like to know, Dan. It's year 41. I want to know what's going on with these parents.
So boom! Now we're cutting into the movie. The actually beginning. We have a skating kid skate. The kids have
cool
flashlights glued to their
on
skates.
The front of the skates. How did this idea not catch on? This is brilliant. That's the night skating is so hard. Like my sister wears one of those forehead lamps,
Sure.
And then she has a backpack that has reflectors on. That's how she rollerblades at night sometimes, right? What if she had flashlights on the front of her skates? What a genius idea. I don't know how this didn't take off. This feels like a marketing genius move.
Because it looks terrible.
It does look stupid. You're right about that. But you can see where you're going.
So more and more kids come together. And they woozah. And then it turns out that we have two teams, the Scorpions.
Which is a cool name.
And the Solarbabies.
Not a cool name.
Did they say Solarbabies more than 3 times in this movie?
I don't think so.
It's 2. Did they? It's 2 to 4, I would say.
It's not too many. They say Scorpions more than they say Solarbabies. I would wager.
So this is the name of their team. Our main characters, which is Tara, Rabbit, Jason, Daniel, Metron.
Metron, yeah, I don't know what that one means.
Metron and Tank.
I feel like we're missing one.
Tank, Dom DeLuise's kid that never gets to say anything. I don't remember what his name is. He has a name too.
Wonderful.
This is, in my opinion, you could say things about John Carter. I'm like, whatever. This is the worst named movie of all time.
It's bad. It's bad. What's interesting to me, Dan, is that in the movie, they comment on what a weird name Solarbabies is for a skateball team, but then that's also the name of the movie? So in the movie itself, they're making fun of their own name? I don't understand. That's not meta. That's not cheeky. That's just dumb, guys. If you know the name is dumb, change the name.
Well, it's kind of like saying no in improv, and once you start doing...
But it's like saying no to your own line.
Yes.
Instead of me yes-anding or knowing you, it's like I start my own line and I'm like, you know what? That's a terrible idea. I'm going to change course right now.
But
stupid.
But not even change course. You're just going to negate what you
shut
said.
It down.
You're just like, hi, I'm this person. Actually, I'm not. Okay, I'm going to keep talking. You're like,
what am I going to do? I don't know what I'm doing.
There goes the comedy.
Such a weird choice.
So, yeah, I don't know what you call this movie, but because this was like literally the only thing they had, sort of. So, no.
I mean, unfortunately, yes. But again, it has no bearing on the movie. Like, the Solar Baby team, I guess, is what drives the force, but it has nothing to do with their skateball team.
No.
If throughout the movie the team of kids would like high five to their name,
Solarbabies.
Solarbabies rule. You know, like if we made it more of a thing, I guess it would make sense. At least it's still terrible, right? It's an awful name. I don't think we can ever get over that.
No.
But at least it would make some sort of sense. But it's not about that.
They do some teamwork things in this movie, which you're like, oh,
For
okay,
sure.
good.
I can't wait to talk about the bridge scene. Cannot wait.
How could you not help want to talk about the bridge scene? So they basically they do a battle. You know, they play a game, which basically it's sort of roller derby, sort of rollerball. You just have to scoop up the ball and then put it in the thing in the center. Which, I mean, basically this would be just them standing around the center, you know, trying to throw the ball in there. They don't.
Well, no, because what happens, Dan, is that the propeller on the bottom shoots the ball in a different direction. I actually think this is a pretty cool game, and I would play it.
Well, they just needed to have a couple rules, like you have to take the ball.
Oh, you want rules? I see.
Maybe take the ball 3 times around the course, and then.
Well, that's interesting because that would be more of like a roller derby aspect to it, which I like. I don't know if you know anything about youth football or youth lacrosse or things like that, but like in youth lacrosse, you need to make a certain amount of passes before you can shoot because kids are so bad at everything. Yes. That the passing is actually the hard part of it. You know what I mean? So like they have to complete 2 passes, which is almost impossible for them before they can just start throwing at the net. So maybe something to that effect, you know, like do a couple laps, maybe a couple passes. Otherwise, you're right. It would be a lot of going straight to this little hoop thing. But again, I dig it. I like the sport.
Just to flesh out the sport. Sure.
Yeah, flesh it out. That's great. Or just make it make sense in the movie, and then I don't care anymore.
And they're all like, we're playing by the rules. And then Tara says.
And then there's no rules.
She says, squared fair. And you're like, oh, look at that. And so they sort of.
Look at that.
They sort of have some lines that are meant to be like hip future lines. And then they always go right back to like a normal line.
Yep, 100%. Yeah. Well, because it's one of those things, again, it's like the whole movie. There's just ideas written down somewhere, right? They're like, well, this is fun jargon we could put, but it's not like we're changing all of the dialogue. We're only going to put a couple of words in there because it's only been 41 years, Dan. Okay, so not everything would change, right?
Things change pretty quick over here. It doesn't take 41 years for things to change.
Being 41 years old myself, my jargon never changes.
Yeah. And then there's the Solarbabies, who are the 5 good guys. There's the Scorpions, of which there's the one blonde leader who's the only real character. I never caught his name.
No,
Then there's the outlier character. Can you name the outlier character, the weird kid with the owl?
Oh boy, yes. Star Cruiser, Stardust, Dust Star, Duskar, something, Dusker, something like that.
Wow, you're pretty close. Dar Star.
Dar Star, dang it. I was dancing around it, I feel. I don't know. I don't get it. He also said he calls himself that.
Yeah, it's not his
real name. What does
it
mean?
That means he has a real name.
No, I know, but what is what'd you say?
He has a real name.
Dar Star?
It's like Pete.
But he chose Dar Star. What is that? That's not a word, right? I don't understand. He's like, I call myself Dar Star. I feel like that should mean something to me, but it means absolutely nothing. It's not. It's gobbledygook.
You know what we need to do?
Tell me, please. Please tell me what we need to do. I'm all ears, Dan.
When Mel Brooks dies,
okay,
we need to go to his like estate sale or whatever and find
already in the
missing footage.
Is there missing footage?
There has to be missing footage where they explain Dar Star, right? They would have shot that.
I mean, I'm in. Let's do it. Let's check it out.
Maybe we just go there now, Mel.
We got a long ways to go, Dan. All right.
Okay.
Young and healthy.
So he's like this sort of mystical character. He doesn't speak until 2/3 into the movie, right? We don't hear him speak a word.
Well, yeah, because he's dark and mysterious. right? He's the mysterious stranger. You said it yourself. Or outsider. Mysterious outsider. I think that's what you said.
Did you think he could talk?
I honestly I didn't, because we have Daniel who can't hear.
Yes.
So I thought this guy was mute, and I thought maybe he was going to speak through the animals. That was kind of where my head was heading towards.
Hello, I am Darstar.
Not like a real thing where it's like, oh, the parrot talks for me. Not like that sort of thing, but like, a communication of some sort where he's like, the bird flies to this place, and they're like, Darstar wants us to go there. I don't know, something like that, because he's magic. Yeah, he's got some sort of magic that we don't understand or discuss or do anything with.
But he doesn't. It's a grift. He's like faking it, right?
Is he? I thought he was magic. Because there's magic in the movie. The orb lights them up when they touch hands. I don't understand.
But he never did any magic, right?
I mean, he magicked the bird.
I mean, the bird.
He called a bird to him. That's magic, right?
I suppose. Maybe his bird control was magic.
Well, because he calls the owl to him, right? He's got an owl friend, a familiar, as you will. But then also in the sand scene, when he's drawing stuff, he calls crows to his arm.
He does call crows. That is true. He calls crows.
I just feel like he's got some sort of animal magic.
Yeah. So, boom, the game is broken up by the E-Police. Perimeter violation. And then...
Hold on. They say orphanage perimeter violation. Like, it's very specific which violation or which perimeter they're violating. It's the orphanage perimeter violation. I just thought that was interesting.
They got transport vehicles, they got motorcycles, and then they got these dune buggy ones that, like, they do crazy things with these dune buggies.
It's cool.
That's why we know this is not in America, because they do crazy things with the dune buggies.
Oh, interesting. That's a fair point. I didn't even think about it. Yeah, they're going crazy with it. I love it. I think it's cool.
It's cool.
This is more the stuff we need. In fact, this whole intro to this movie, the first 10 to 15 minutes, is completely different from the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
And that bothers me, because I am interested. I'm still very into this movie.
Oh, yeah.
At this point in time.
Yeah. If they'd have made this movie, it would have been much better.
Yeah.
They didn't make this movie.
No, of course not.
So the kids take off. They head into this mine. The big bad guy's, I think he's called the Stricter.
Yeah, it's something like that. Stricter.
And then he yells at the head of the Scorpions for not beating the stupid Solarbabies.
Yes. So this is why I thought this movie was going to be about the sport more. Because he's yelling at the King Scorpion, and he says something under the lines of, we give you no rules. You could do whatever you want, but I don't give you those things just so you can lose to this, shitty ragtag squad of skateball idiots. But why? Why are they getting privileges because they're good at skateball? Because skateball doesn't mean anything as far as I can tell. That's the world I want to live in. Like this team that is getting all these favors, and they're like we beat everyone at skateball, but then this underdog team. I want a sports movie. That's what I want, Dave. I want like a future sports movie out of this.
Has there ever been, other than Rollerball, has there ever been, there's future driving movies, sure.
Yeah.
But has there been another...
I guess I don't know.
I
think we should write one.
I can't think of anything other than Rollerball, but it would be, if we did, it would be a joke. Because everything has to be a joke.
If we did, it would be a joke. It could be a joke, but we have to take the sport seriously. Does that make sense? Like it's a funny movie, but the sport is real. We're going to make real rules, and they're going to really play the game, because that drives me crazy.
Well, I've got my extreme future sport and space duck,
You do? I haven't read that one.
It's called Feeble Leg.
I'm in.
It's like soccer, but you're always taking penalty kicks, but the other team runs at you and tries to kick you in the leg.
No shin pads, I assume,
no.
Right? We're talking straight bone-on-bone action here. Yes. Okay, great.
Very, very violent, very, very big turnover. Very dangerous.
Very big turn. We got broken legs every day, folks. Dan, I'm in. Let's do this. This is great.
There it is. I got it all worked out. Okay.
I love it. That's trademarked, everybody. Don't take Dan's space stuck sport.
So Daniel, the young kid, there's a young kid, Daniel. He's the coolest kid. Everybody
Which is
thinks he's
weird.
the greatest.
He's not on the team. He's just like their friend.
He's the mascot.
He's the water boy. Well, I guess not water boy because there's no water in the future. So I guess he's the dirt boy.
Sand boy.
Sand boy.
He goes down in the mine. He falls over, looses a mine cart. The mine cart crashes through a wall. The track on
Isn't that on a track?
The track on the floor disappears.
Isn't the mine I don't understand how this happened. It's ridiculous. All he did was unbreak it, and it just went through a wall. That's not how mine carts work.
It went right through a wall. If it's a thin wall, it'll go right through it.
If it's a paper wall, which it clearly was, yeah.
There's static on his headphone. He goes in there and he finds this little globe, smaller than a soccer ball, but bigger than a cantaloupe.
Yeah,
about size, a little bigger than a cantaloupe.
All right, perfect.
Cantaloupe was about 18%. 18% larger than a cantaloupe.
Just a GMO cantaloupe, you know what I mean? Just a little bit bigger than normal.
A jacked cantaloupe.
Jacked.
He immediately regains the ability to hear, which then never comes into play. No one ever. I mean, his buddies notice he has the ability to hear, but we never have a point of jeopardy where they're like, "How the hell do you hear again now?" Nope, we never do that bit.
Nope. It's just but it's a nice thing for him.
Yeah.
Good old Daniel got his ears back. What a treat.
Because we were worried. We felt for him so much at the beginning of the movie, him being deaf like that, and then boom, he's not deaf, and so it means something.
Not, so it's happy. Yeah. It means the ball is good.
We get to feel good.
See.
Let's see. He gets entranced by an echo. He says, "You fixed my ears," and we find out the name of the ball is Bodai.
Now, pause.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah.
I'm confused.
Why?
Because the ball is talking to him in this scene.
Sort of. Yeah.
I don't feel like the ball talks to anybody the rest of the movie almost.
It talked to Darstar.
Oh, that's true. You're right. But Daniel then, in this same scene, he goes, "Hey, do you need to breathe?" The ball doesn't answer him.
When he takes it back to their
the shed,
their quarters. No, not their quarters. Their clubhouse, because they literally have a clubhouse.
They're somehow on campus, on this orphanage campus that's basically a prison. They have their own hangout clubhouse shed type area. Great, makes total sense.
Tony's dream to be.
I mean, it's cool. I'm not gonna pretend I don't want to hang out there, Dan. But I don't understand how they have it. That's the problem.
He puts Bodai in a thing with a blanket to keep it, careful,
snug,
and then he doesn't close up the thing. He leaves a hockey stick in it, or whatever it's called,
skateball stick.
He's like, "Here, so you can breathe," and then the thing glows out of the thing. Once again, we see glow coming out of this box that shouldn't be glowing. Nobody else notices, and no one.
But his whole group of friends comes in. He's sitting on a glowing treasure chest, and nobody says anything. That's wild.
I mean, because we're so indoctrinated to expect, he's being crazy and doing this thing so that it'll glow out, and someone will see it, and then they'll find it, and then he'll be discovered, et cetera, et cetera. Nope, he just really thought it needed to breathe.
And which is weird because he asked it if it needs to breathe and it didn't tell him.
Nope.
It didn't, and he says, "Oh, just in case," but it told him his name. I don't understand, Dan. Sometimes it talks, sometimes it doesn't.
Every relationship has levels of communication.
Well, you're right about that.
So
some are better than others.
He's late for roll call, and it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter at all. They seem so worried. Jason Patrick and I want to call her Star because that's her name in Lost Boys. I feel bad.
Tara.
Terry?
Jamie Gertz. Tara.
Land. Earth. Oh, okay. Cool. So they are in line and they're talking. They're like, "Oh my God, where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Oh, get back in line. He's coming. He's coming." And then the kid's just up top and nobody gives a shit. I don't understand. Why are they so worried? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
It's very weird.
I love it.
Charles Durning plays the warden. He really doesn't have anything to do in this movie.
I don't understand his character.
He's the warden.
He's like a loving father type to these kids. He's don't hurt them, please. And then he takes he gets a water ration.
Yep.
And he pours it on a plant to let the plant live.
Yes, that's exactly.
But he's running a jail orphanage?
Well, in these kind of things,
please explain it to me.
They may call him the warden, but he's also a prisoner there, right? He has to,
You think so?
Yeah, sure.
Doesn't he own it?
No. He just runs it. But
I'm confused.
He's beholden to the stricter and the e-police.
But why? That's what I thought. There's no reason to.
We don't really get into it, but oftentimes
I need to get into it.
Oftentimes in a prison, you have prisoners that are in charge of the prisoners. That's all you always do. Because that's like free labor.
But not in charge of all of the prisoners. He's in charge of every prisoner. He is the head prisoner. It doesn't make sense, Dan.
They didn't have anybody else to take the position. So they argue about stuff. That's it.
Well, it's very important. He pours the water to let the plant live, and then the bad guy uses his magic
evil
staff?
stick. Evil stick.
Evil stick. He uses evil stick to then magically kill the plant. See, again, magic. Random magic in the movie.
It seems like it heats up and it kind of burns the plant, sort of, but it doesn't.
Is that what it does?
It doesn't even really completely kill the plant. The plant just kind of goes.
No, it just kind of shrivels a little. It's like, oh no, my water's gone for the day. Oh, maybe it sucks up water.
Probably.
And then like later, he's like drinking out of his evil stick, nom, 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 like a gerbil.
Never uses a stick again. We never see that stick again.
No, he does not.
In class, they watch a film about the Eco Warriors, and then they get called up to the warden.
Why would you watch a video on that?
It doesn't seem like a thing you would want the kids learning about the Eco Warriors.
If you're trying to indoctrinate them into the e-police, why would you show them freedom fighters? I don't know.
You should have said, these are the Eco Warriors. They're the ones that fucked everything up. You should hate them.
Great. Yeah. Fox News them. Sorry, I shouldn't get political on here.
No politicals.
No politicals.
So up at the warden's office, he yells at them. And he's like, you need to do that in organized play. Which is like my favorite. They've got a lot of great lines, but just the idea that they have organized play, that's just, I don't know.
But then we don't see any organized play.
Yeah, organized play is where they're circling around and getting indoctrinated. That's organized play.
No, that's their rec time. That's not organized. Organized play would be a match between two teams. It should be like some Hogwarts Ender's Game type shit where there's scoreboards and like Scorpions are 42 matches winning and they're going to win the House Cup, whatever it is. But they talk about it as if this is a thing, but we don't see it ever. I want to see that movie. I want Skateball the movie. Let's get it going, guys.
Mel Brooks's garage.
We'll get it.
He wants them to achieve a decent life grid, and so
and that's like a job. Is that what you got out of that? I wasn't sure what that meant.
I don't know.
Okay,
so they have to dig holes. So they have to go out and start digging.
Are they digging for water?
No, that's just punishment. In the olden days,
digging?
Yeah, in the olden days, what it would be is you'd make the prisoners work on the rock pile. Do you know what a rock pile is?
Okay.
And
is it just a rock where they take the chisel?
A rock pile is a big pile of rocks, and then the prisoners hit the rocks with big hammers and make smaller rocks.
Smaller rocks, sure. And then what?
Then you hit them again and make smaller rocks. Then you hit them again and you make smaller rocks.
And you're telling me they're not looking for gems?
Nope.
Here's what I always thought. I thought they were looking for like gems that then the people that owned these people could then sell for money. That's what I thought. You're telling me they're just hitting rocks to hit rocks? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Well, that's what keeps them tired.
Well, that's true.
Tired and busy.
That's it. That was it. You made it sound like there were more things on the list there, Dan, but that's just the one.
No, that's it.
I always thought it was like they're looking for, maybe some coal, maybe some gold, as a vein of silver, as it were. That's what I always thought was happening. I don't know.
Nope.
I don't know anything about anything. I'm an idiot.
It's a pile of useless rocks that they're making smaller.
Weird. That does sound bad. That is punishment. You're right.
That is punishment.
I'm sorry. I never understood.
Shaman Boy makes this triangle in the dirt, and then with some symbols.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Yep, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. I thought for sure it was going to matter. It doesn't matter. Don't pay any attention to it.
He crawls some crows. The dickhead kid just chases them off.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Dickhead then goes over to Tara, who has made a very large hole.
Great hole. Great hole. She's really good at digging.
Then he starts checking out her ass. Then he climbs down in her hole, and then she says another great line, "Get out, you creature of filth."
Filth.
And so you're like, okay, that's a good line. And then he follows it up with the, "Hey, I just want to talk."
Yeah, what? That face is what I made during the movie. I was like, huh?
She threatens his nuts. Then she threatens his nuts.
This is not the first time that I've had a thought of like, could he just, do bad things to her in public and no one would do anything? Like, is that the kind of orphanage this is?
I don't know, man.
Because in Rec Time, he's like got her pinned against the wall and is definitely like forcing himself on her. And the only person that does anything is Jason Patrick.
Yeah. No, the guards aren't going to do anything.
But it's not it's an orphanage. They're not bad. I don't know. It's weird to me.
If you're a scorpion, you do what you want.
Fucking scorpions, man.
Back at the clubhouse.
They're the best team at this school. Come on, give me that movie. I want that movie so bad.
Back at the clubhouse, everybody finds out about Bodhi, and then someone's like, "I wish." Oh, they haven't found about Bodhi. They talk about the weather. Tara has a book about the weather. She reads some weather poetry, and then Bodhi causes there to be thunder, and then lightning, and then it rains in there, and everybody's like, "Oh, this is incredible!"
First of all, not everybody. I want you to rewatch that scene, Dan, and pay very special attention to Jason Patrick.
He's angry at the rain?
He's not angry, but I don't think he feels joy. I don't think he knows how to do it. It makes me really sad to watch. Everyone is like dancing and having a good time, and he is so awkward in this scene. He doesn't know what to do with his hand. He does some punching maneuvers and he kicks a little. It's like he has no idea how to have fun. This guy he just fundamentally doesn't know what joy is. He doesn't have that. And listen, maybe I'm wrong. It's just what I saw in this movie, and I was like, this makes me sad because this guy doesn't know how to have fun with the rest of these kids.
Maybe
everyone's having a good time but him.
Maybe he and Macaulay Culkin have to get together.
Oh my God. Yeah. I don't know. Was he a child star? Maybe that's what it is. Maybe he doesn't know how to have childlike wonder and joy because he definitely doesn't have it in The Rain. And he doesn't seem to enjoy the rain is on him. Everyone's laughing and having a good time. His face is like, he's like having a hard time in the rain. He doesn't look like he's having fun at all. This poor guy, I just want to give him a hug. He wouldn't like it, but I want to give him a hug.
He would not like your hugs.
I'm a great hugger. Everyone likes my hugs. Free hugs. So here's my question. What? Is it a genie? Does it answer wishes?
Wait.
How did it make the rain happen?
It does whatever the scene needs it to do.
the true MacGuffin, huh? Okay.
No, it's not a MacGuffin because it does stuff.
Well, that's true. But it doesn't do anything that I want it to do.
It's sort of like the ultimate Deus Ex Machina. It's going to provide you with what you need.
But at the same time, not because it doesn't solve the problem.
No, but it gets you what you need. That's true.
It's up to a point it does, and then it gets kidnapped and can't get out, even though it's got magic powers. So what I don't understand is it doing these... Don't give me that attitude. Is it doing these magic powers on its own accord, or is it only respond to a specific request? You see what I'm saying?
It's a good question, Tony. Okay. They make an oath not to talk about it. We go to free skate in the warehouse, which is pretty cool. You gotta keep the modular flow.
It's weird. So,
Okay.
it's a very small circle for as many people as they have, in rec time.
Okay.
Seems very dangerous.
It's free skate time. That's what they call it.
It's free skate. Yeah. But they're not free skating.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Because they're going in a very predetermined path. It's not free skating.
Have you ever watched the movie Xanadu?
And not in a long time, but I would if you want to do it.
Oh, I love that movie.
Xanadu's great.
It's a great movie. But at the end, they're doing the skate scene and they're in the club and they all start skating in the circles and they're all like cha 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 cha, and they're all like
yeah.
It's
yeah.
just the greatest thing. Whenever anybody's skating, I just want that to happen.
I just want that to happen so bad. Just one time in my life. We'll make it happen. We'll do like a flash mob, Dan.
So, the bad guy goes over and starts kissing on Tara, and then Jason, come on, man, come on, kill you, motherfucker, I'll kill you.
Yeah, because he's a serious guy.
And then he goes back later, poor Jason, who's Jason's Jason. Jason plays Jason.
Jason is Jason. It's weird. It's weird. You think they could just switch it.
He goes back and talks to Bodhi, and he's all like, yeah, man, who am I? I want to know. And then...
but we don't ever know.
No, we don't ever learn.
We never find out who he is. We find out who Tara is.
We do.
We know where she comes from. We know where Darstar comes from. We don't know where he comes from. Also, where does Daniel come from? Because he's very young. He's pretty new to this. He just got kidnapped.
Each of the sequels was going to kind of roll out.
Okay. Each one's like a character study. Oh, I see. Okay.
So this is like setting up number 2.
It's just weird that you put that scene in this movie if you're not going to give us the answers of who he is.
But that's kind of
you're asking the questions. I'm not asking the question. Not you, Dan, the movie maker. You are asking the question: who am I? Where did I come from? What am I doing? And then you don't answer it. Don't put that scene in the movie.
No, you got to put that scene in the movie because that just makes you want more, right? It's like,
but I don't get more. If you were to deliver more, I'm on board, but you do not deliver it.
That's the thing about, this is all set up, no punchline. They're going to set it all up for the future. And that makes you...
You got to leave... This is a franchise, baby. We got to leave them wanting more.
That's what I believe.
That's a terrible choice.
Then he gets... Bodhi projects into Jason's mind a montage of all the things that are going to happen, which is... basically like this dam blowing up and then water being released.
And then them dancing in water, right? Yeah. Doesn't it show them all like coming out of water or something?
Yeah.
Like they've been baptized or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
By the adventure, baptized by the adventure. Okay, everyone then shows up. They check it for radioactivity. Metron, who's the brainy one with the glasses, can't figure it out. So
he seems mad that there's no radioactivity. Did you?
I was really hoping that Metron was going to like double agent them and.
Oh, that would have been good.
Yeah,
because his character is definitely that guy.
Yeah,
right. Like he's not in on this adventure all the way.
No,
he's definitely half in, half out.
Yeah.
But when he checks it for radiation, he's like he does. He goes, huh? There's no radiation. Why are you mad at that? You don't want it to have radiation. Radiation's bad. You just told me that it was going to kill you by hanging out, and now you're mad that it doesn't have it? That doesn't make any sense, buddy.
He wants his friends dead. Then they play hook hockey with it, and then Rabbit like breaks it, and it
apparently, but no one seems upset by it. They're like, "Wow, that's cool."
Ooh, and it goes like this, and then goes back together, and Daniel gets to score the goal, and everyone's like, Daniel. Now,
that would mean something if, one, Daniel had ever played skateball before in his life.
Yes.
Or made it seem like he wanted to play skateball ever before in his life. Or was incapable of scoring a goal earlier in the show. But this means nothing to me.
Or if at the end of the movie, Metron like turned on them and joined the other team, and so then Daniel had to get put in.
That's great, but there is no sports later in the movie, Dan, so that's just not going to happen.
They go back. There's hard work. Oh, they head back, but then they form a circuit, and then it flows through all of them. So there it is.
Which means it doesn't do anything.
And then the shaman is up there watching, and so then he goes.
Yeah, he's watching the magic.
He goes and steals Bowtie,
which I didn't understand, but it's fine.
Well, they kind of explain it. He wanted to take it to the Chicani to give it to them or to use it for power or something.
For what? Yeah, but I don't understand like what he thinks. One, because he doesn't really know anything about the Chicani, right?
Nope.
Right. So what is he? I don't understand the motivation to be like, what? But if I bring him this magic ball, they're going to X. You know, I don't know what that is. I don't know what that step is in his brain.
I don't think you're ever going to know, Tony.
No, I'm not ever going to know because they didn't get to make all the sequels that you think they wanted to make.
Unless we get into Mel Brooks's garage.
We'll get in there. Don't you worry.
So
legally, of course.
Turns out someone escaped. We don't know who. Then they toss the barracks for what reason we don't know. Yeah.
Here's what's a little weird to me, right?
No, it's
is everyone, especially Tara, she's like, he's free. I'm jealous of whoever it is because he's free. It seems like anyone could leave anytime they want. There is very little actual security here. They just walk out the front door.
There is not a lock on a door.
Right? Who just escaped just walks right out. Yeah. And then they're like, he's free. I can't believe it. Just leave. Anyone could just leave, as far as I can tell.
Oh, so this is probably because of Darstar, because Darstar is left. So that's why.
Darstar leaves. He steals the orb, and then he just walks out the front door. Yeah.
So then it's night. Tara wakes up, and there's Jason. He's all like, Daniel is gone.
Also walked out the front door.
Just walked out the front door. So they meet in the clubhouse, and they take a vote, and they're like, we're going to go find Daniel. And they just go. They just leave and start skating.
Well, at least they skate out the front door. You know, that's a little different. And then this camera pops up and is looking right at them. They go past it and then stop 50 yards from it. And they're like, all right, now destroy it. So now he turns back and throws a rock at it and destroys it. It's too late, guys. The camera already caught you. It knows who you are. If you're going to take out a camera, you got to do it before it sees you because that's how cameras work.
But it popped up. They didn't know it was there.
You're right. It did pop up. It surprised them all.
Now, when that camera popped up and then they threw the rock and broke the camera, were you sort of impressed with the skill of this movie at that point?
What do you mean? Do you mean his lacrosse skills?
No.
Because the answer to that is yes, because I have tried to play lacrosse a lot and I cannot throw very accurately. It's very hard to throw with the hook thing at the top. It's hard to control that.
Another thing you and Jason Patrick have in common.
Me and JP, not great at lacrosse.
I just thought like this sort of effect was pretty effective.
Oh, I see.
From a movie making standpoint, I was like, oh, okay, wow, that's good.
I mean, listen, I liked a lot of stuff cinematically in this movie. I thought a lot of their tech was pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So they break it. Then we have a musical interlude of them skating.
Sort of.
To a song called Standing in the Danger Zone.
Wait, is that real?
that is the main line from the song. Standing in the Danger Zone. Standing.
That's pretty good.
Are you going to just stand there in the danger zone? Yes.
You wouldn't stand
in the danger zone.
And they're also not standing, which is a weird song to put in when they're clearly skating. Now, listen, I don't know things, right? But they're leaving this place skating into a known desert, right? Why would you have your skates on? Why would you think that you are able to skate through a desert? It turns out they are. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
But why would that be on your brain? Like if I was escaping into a desert, I'd be like, I better wear shoes because I can't skate in loose dirt.
Well,
but they know it's going to work.
If you were escaping, would you take a car or would you just walk?
Well, I mean, I would love to take a car. I don't think they know how to drive a car, or those cool motorbikes.
You'd take a car as far as you could, and then you'd get out of the car and walk, wouldn't you?
Yeah, 100%.
Wow.
Or
Wow.
you would roller skate through loose dirt and gravel, which is going to trip you. And you know what?
Didn't
Let's
trip
take
them.
a
They
minute.
never tripped.
It didn't
I
trip
didn't see
them,
that.
but let's take a minute and commend these actors because they are really doing this. Not that it's in the middle of the desert, but the road is covered in loose gravel. You can see dust pop up as they're like trying to skate through it. At one point, Jason Patrick goes off the path. I don't know if he meant to do it or not, but he has to run through loose sand on skates. Like literally, he's running and then gets back on the path. Good for them. That's as an actor, that would be a tough day of work, I think. So good for them.
Jesus.
Congratulations.
I'm going to put myself in his roller skates. Oh, God, Tony.
I wish.
Meanwhile, Daniel, who's up ahead, he has run out of water, but he's still hearing from Bodhi. The E-police show up because they finally sort of caught up, and then they start...
Because they're on roller skates.
Yeah, they're on roller skates. And they move pretty quick. So then they get to this destroyed bridge, and then Tony wants to talk about the getting across the destroyed bridge.
Well, first of all, this gap is huge. Okay, let's just talk about this for 1 second. The bridge is out, and it is a huge... You can't jump it. Straight up, you cannot jump. You think you can jump it?
No, never in a million years.
Okay, great.
This is when you jump. This is what happens when you jump. You go jump, and you go
and down.
You don't really make a parabola. You make a. This is let me get mathematic. You don't make a parabola.
Please, yeah. Let's get it.
You make a fucking sine curve, and the sine curve goes. Poof, it just shoots you right to shit.
So they're never going to make it a million years.
Yeah.
Let's get over that for a moment, right? Let's pretend that they could make it. Yeah. They form what did they call a slingshot? A whip. They call it a whip.
It's a whip.
Jason Patrick is at the center. He's the center point, and he's got two people on each of going out each ways, and they're spinning in a circle to gain momentum.
Yeah,
right.
It's not a terrible.
What a fun little treat.
Yeah.
And then they slingshot one person. Boom. He makes it with all that momentum that he had, right?
Yeah.
That's great. Let's pretend that makes sense.
Yeah.
Scientifically, let's pretend this is our starting point.
Yeah.
Now they're down one person in their momentum swing.
Yes.
So there's less momentum. The next person's going to fall shorter.
Yes.
Then there's one less. Then he's going to fall shorter. The next person's not even going to get off the ground. And then Jason Patrick does it by himself?
Well,
he just is like, you know what? I'll just back up another 20 feet, and that'll be enough momentum to get over the edge.
Yeah, because
that doesn't make any sense.
He's the strongest of them.
Is he? I think the other guy's the strongest of them.
Dom DeLuise's kid? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I don't remember his name, but he's pretty fit. I like him.
He's kind of the Tony part.
It's a dumb scene. It doesn't make any sense, and I love it. I love it so much.
And then the bad guys come on motorcycles, and they lose one of the motorcycles into the ravine, and then the kids are on the other side, and they're all like, "Yeah,
they're cheering.
We did it!
Yeah, we did it!" Like what a great line. We did it. So silly.
So Darstar gets to the Chicani camp. The Chicanis are sort of like Native Americans. They're sort of a bunch of white people sort of dressed as Native Americans.
Yeah, that's maybe not great, but yeah, that's an accurate description.
The Chicani leader yells at him, "Don't be cryptic with me, boy!"
Which is weird because he just goes like, "Who are you?" And he's like, "I don't really know. I don't know where I came from. I don't know who I am." And then he gets yelled at for it. Yeah, it's tough.
And then he says some stuff. He's like, "Did you train that bird?" And he's like, "Yep." He's like, "You're one of us, then."
Yep. Only a Chicani could have an owl. This guy's one of us. Let's go.
So they go
What a sweet moment.
They go into the one building. The one building is a wax museum of death.
Yeah.
I loved it. I was just like, this is like when you make a movie, you have a person. What's the person that just a location manager or what location scout, location scout, and they go out there and they're all like, we could shoot here and here and here, and somebody's like, there's a wax museum we could shoot in.
What would be really cool?
Yeah,
in the middle of this futuristic desert movie. A wax museum.
We'll have an interior wax museum that is inside of a tent.
But here's the crazier part about that.
What's
Dan,
the crazier part?
One or several of the Chicani reset it every time. because all of the traps go off. Someone's head gets chopped off in a guillotine. It rolls down. Someone gets hung, dropped from a thing. So someone is in there like resetting it every time for a new when someone new comes. They're like, "Oh, this will be fun. We got to reset reset the wax museum. Everybody, we got a newcomer." It's so weird.
So great.
I love it. Good for them.
There's a crazy old guy down there. He has pigeons. So we've done an owl. We've done pigeons. We've done
many
crows.
birds.
A lot of bird handling for this movie.
Bird magic.
And then he checks out the thing, and he says, "This is from outer space," and that the Protectorate, the bad guys, fear it.
Right. Well, how do they know all that?
But because he's the one, he must be the guy at the beginning that tells about the legend.
You think he's the one that's telling the legend when it's not even a legend?
Yes, he knows the legend.
Yes.
We solved it.
Okay. Talk to me about the legend, though, because it's been 41 years.
Yeah.
What happened in these 41 years? Did they find the orb at one point and then lose it? Why do the bad guys fear it? How do they... And the bad guy calls it the ball of Longinus or something?
Yeah.
The orb of Longinus?
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. Do you know what that word means?
Oh,
okay,
it's a made up word. Yeah.
I thought maybe I was missing something.
No.
But so they have a name for it.
Yep.
So they've encountered it before.
Yes.
This is the legend that I need to be told. You know what I mean? Like, what happened that the bad guys fear it and the good guys want it? I don't get it. It just I don't understand, man. I'm so confused.
So let's see. Okay. The owl alerts Star that something's gonna happen. So he kind of runs away. But all these cars come down there and they basically kill everyone or take people prisoner, or they just destroy the whole Chicani camp.
They burn the whole village. Yeah.
Shoot the leader, destroyed. The stupid blonde kid Scorpion shoots the owl to death. I was like, oh, man.
And this is the darkest part of the movie to me.
Yeah.
He goes and picks up the dead owl, and he's like, I got his owl. Woo! Swings it around and then throws it. It's dark.
Oh.
Like, that's animal cruelty right there.
You know what it is? That's the scene in Road Warrior where the guy goes and gets the little psycho feral kid's boomerang. That's based on that scene. Yeah, that makes sense.
Sure, but this is an owl.
Yeah,
this was a live creature.
It's horrible. So the bad guys...
Some messed up stuff.
They haven't found what they're looking for, but they destroyed the Chicani camp, which there's no reason to. And then they just drive back home, which they've got like a separate sort of enclosure. And then there's these weird Australian cowboy guys that are outside the enclosure. They're all like, hey, governor, what do you want us to do, mate? And then he's all like, your day will come or something. And he hits them with a stick.
Yeah, what?
Well, they're coming.
Who are these people?
Those are
they keep coming back.
That's Malice the bounty hunter. They're bounty hunters.
They are. This is not what I imagine when I think of bounty hunters.
Just the idea that they hang around outside the enclosure. That's how
waiting.
You don't have a bar that you can put them in to visit. No, we're just like, we've made this enclosure, so we're going to make this encounter.
They just hang out outside.
Right there. Because that makes a lot of sense. It's great. It's totally wonderful. Oh no, they brought the Chicani leader back. They torture him. They have a torture machine that makes you think of the thing that's most horrible, and he's covered in ants.
Yeah, which, you know what, we have an ant problem right now, and I get it. Like, my biggest fear right now is I'm going to go to bed, and I'm going to wake up, and I'm going to be covered. They'll be crawling into my mouth, and then I'll choke to death.
Yeah, you know what when you eat an ant, you know what that taste is?
No.
I think it's formic acid. That's
bad, right?
It's acid.
Acid? If I get too much acid, it's going to burn right through me.
Hopefully.
See, I knew it. I'm going to die. I'm going to die from ants.
He also tortures the head of the scorpions and makes him think his hand is rotting away.
It's way cooler.
Yeah.
That one I get. His hand literally just like disintegrates in front of him. That's very scary.
It's creepy. Boom, tortures the kid. Then our kids have now gotten in a cave. Jason, to prove how tough he is, drinks from an old soda pop can. And then they find cave paintings of everybody.
But it's only 41 years old. It's not even that old if you think about it.
It's more like paintings on the side of the wall of someone that was bored. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's in crayon from what I can tell. You know what I mean? Or like the sidewalk chalk.
Yeah, it's more like...
That's probably what it is.
It looks more like pastels or something. Pretty nice art.
Yeah.
So weird.
It's super. It's only been 41 years. Why are people drawing on a cave wall? I don't get it.
There's no more paper, and you know how artists are.
But when was there no more paper?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. What is the timeline of this? Because this looks like a war. It's the what are they called? The E-Police.
Eco-War.
Eco-Wars. You know why that's confusing, Dan? Because the E-Police and Eco-Warriors, they should have different letters. Anyhow, so this happened within the last 40 years, right? Or is this like the war that happened right before the world ended?
These are good questions.
I don't like movies that just throw shit out.
Tony,
I need answers.
Keep asking questions.
Thank you. I will.
The bad guys are on the move. They go to the place where the evil lady is. The evil lady that fought Superman. There she is with her cool haircut. She's super cool.
Wait, is that the same lady? Is that the same actor?
Yeah, same person.
From the evil Kryptonian one? Love that. Good for her.
And she has a magnetron, which is what they're going to use to destroy the orb when they get it. Why do they need to destroy the orb? Nobody knows.
Also, why did that? She didn't seem to believe the orb still existed.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
Yeah.
So why would she have the weapon to destroy it?
Oh, I burped. That was horrible.
Great.
Well, he just figures out she has this machine that can do stuff, and he's like, well, let's try and destroy it with that.
All right. I don't know. I don't understand.
So our kids go to Tire Town. Tire Town is like Bartertown. It's Tire Town, Bartertown. Very good. Yep. They have the name spelled out in tires, Tire Town, which was like the best
Which
part.
is great. And like, it looks fun.
Yeah, it's just your classic post-apocalyptic thing. Somehow they're able to get disguises and buy food and buy whatever they want with... I don't know why they would have money in the orphanage.
Well, so I don't understand. Is there money? Because when you do your job, you get paid in water.
Well, maybe they...
So when do you even get money?
Maybe you spit in someone's mouth, and that's how you pay them for clothes.
Here's a shirt, my friend. I don't know.
So they're checking it out. Somebody sees her tattoo, so they know that she's a kid, but that never comes into play. There's a wanted poster. That never comes into play.
Even though it's a great picture of all of them, and they are not that well disguised.
Not at all. There's a factory that it seems like they're either making water out of tires.
They're making something out of tires, and I don't get it.
Then they go over and Daniel can hear Bodai. He's locked in this thing, and they go over there, and it's locked. And then the Darstar shows up, and he's all like, "Well, I'm just going to tell you the combination." And then he tells them the combination. They get into this. It's like a metal vehicle. They all get in to start screwing with the orb, and I'm like, these are the dumbest kids ever. Darstar is going to just fucking put that lock back on there and have everyone, or the bounty hunters are going to do that. Nope.
Nah, I wouldn't worry about that. Here's another question. Why did Darstar hide it there then?
Yeah.
How was he the only one with the combination to this thing?
He bought that lock.
He bought the lock, you're saying?
Yeah. And maybe
is there an empty container that he could put it in the middle of Tire Town?
Maybe like he peed on somebody and then he could buy the whole thing.
You're escalating the fluids. I like it. This is good. Yeah, what a barter system they got going on in Tire Town.
Okay. Tara's mad and she convos with Darstar and she tells him that they buried his owl and he's like, "Thank you for doing that."
No. What he says is, "I know."
Oh, because he was watching.
Okay.
He was watching when they did it.
No, because he's magic and you know it.
No, he was watching. He was up on the hill.
He watching?
Yeah, he was
All
watching.
right.
Yeah, he was.
I don't remember that.
So
That's on me, Darstar. I apologize.
So the E-Police show up and they're there to destroy. Oh,
just fuck shit up.
I forgot what happens in this movie. They come there to
they fight and then they escape by rolling down in tires.
There's like these large tires, and they get inside them and then roll down this one hill
to where?
To freedom.
I mean, to freedom.
But the best part is poor Jason Patrick they film him as he's doing this. Can you imagine how horrible that was?
I would be throwing up the whole way down, just spewing as I go. It's wild, but good for him. This guy is intense. Like the one thing everyone says about working with JP is he is intense.
The whole factory blows up, but Tara was still up there. So this is everybody alive's got to make a plan.
So
they don't make a plan.
Like how many people just died in Tire Town?
I don't know.
Like a ton, right? So they murdered an entire Chicani village.
Yeah.
Now they've murdered everyone in Tire Town. How many villages are there? I don't know. This is weird.
That's how they keep the orphanages full. They destroy whatever they find.
You think they took all the children from Tire Town? Maybe they did.
They seem to have taken the Chicani children.
I guess, actually, I think you are right. Yeah. There you go.
So... boom.
Now they got to wait another 50 years or so to get another crop of children, though. So, tough.
How did they get Bodai? I guess the bad guys got Bodai at this point.
Yeah, Daniel dropped them in when they were running out of Tire Town. He drops them and he's like, I got Bodai. But then Jason Patrick's like, no, we got to go. And then they roll down in tires.
Yeah. So they've got Bodai. The bad guys are analyzing it. Then Malice, just catches them. How does he catch them? He just catches them.
Yeah, he just catches them.
Then he ties them.
Wouldn't worry about
ties them to his cart, which I don't know where he got a cart. And then talk about what happens then he's like making them be his mode of transportation. And what happens, Tony?
Yeah, they're horsing around, right? And then a figure appears in the distance,
all white, wearing all white, just like the good guys in Road Warrior. Same outfits.
And then this person walks by, squirting water out of a little container, just on them, and they're like, "Who would waste water like that? What's going on here?" And then she waves them over and like, "Follow me." As she's squirting more water, the whole time she's squirting water, and she waves them over, squirting water, and they follow her, and then there's just a trap of people. I don't know. But this water squirting's wild to me.
It was so funny. And it turns out that the person squirting them with water is none other than Tara.
Which she's been dead all of 1.5 minutes in this movie. So really scary stuff there.
So they tie the bounty hunters back to the cart and send them off. And they go with Tara and the other white warriors.
Are they dead?
Oh, yeah.
Those guys
they're
dead?
Totally dead. I'm pretty sure
murdered
they're
them.
They murdered them. Whoever finds them is either eating them or doing
they're
worse
tied up.
things.
They have no water. Worse things indeed. This town's crazy.
Did you ever watch Viggo Mortensen in The Road?
I have not seen The Road.
Don't watch that movie.
I don't plan on it.
It's a movie where it's like, it's how the world really ends, and they're like people in cages, and you're just like, no, thank you.
Oh, Jesus.
No.
Yeah, no, I'm all good. I'm all good. Thank you.
Don't need to go there. Okay. So she takes them back to the secret place. There's a cave that has ice, and the ice is melting, and they meet this beard guy who's Tara's dad. His name is Green Tree. And they're all like, we did the Eco Wars, but then a lot of people died, so now we're not doing Eco Wars anymore.
So we quit. We're just going to hang out here by this melting ice chip. Like, eventually that's running out. You know what I mean? Like, ice doesn't replenish itself in the desert. So at some point, you're out of water. Then what happens?
Eco Wars start up again. Daniel can't hear Bodai anymore. The bad guys are back trying to laser Bodai. And then they say to Tara, we can't.
We gotta go.
We gotta go. And so she's all like, well, I guess the place you have to go is the place that I have a map of.
Right. Well, first of all, she says no. She's like all upset. She's like, no, no, no. And then we cut to them leaving, and she's like, wait for me. I've got a map.
And what is it?
Great story.
What is it a map to, Tony?
Straight to where they need to go. No, that's all I know.
What's the place called?
I don't know.
It's the Protectorate Aqua Bunker.
The Aqua Bunker.
So Jason and Tara make out a little.
Yeah, a little. But here's did you watch this closely, Dan? Like I did? I rewound it and watched it a second time. Jason Patrick never closes his eyes in this kiss. It's 7 seconds. He's like staring at her, and she's just on his lips, and he is not blinking at all. It's very scary. I was like, this guy's killing people tonight. I don't know what's going on.
They're boyfriend and girlfriend in real life too, right?
In real life, yeah, they're together. Yeah, and he's like, not at work, babe. I can't do it.
Are they boyfriend and girlfriend in this movie? The characters?
Not really, as far as I can tell. I think they were just kind of like friends. We never really had. This is the only time where they like hook up. You know what I mean?
It's weird.
So I don't think so. I think maybe it was just like, let's see what's going on here.
So they start skating into they skate to where they need to go. The bad guys now then bring out Terminac, which is this big robot that looks terrible, but I still love him.
It's so dumb.
And then Terminac's
still love him.
He's like got drills and things, and then he's gonna finish the job because they've been laser blasting it for a while.
Yeah.
And then,
he's got so many gadgets on him, Dan. He's just got like arms everywhere that do different things. It's such a hodgepodge of nothing. And he rolls so slow. Like it's the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
He's a hodgepodge of nothing. They're like Spanish guys. Make us a robot. Hey, we're making you a robot. It's going to be mighty fantastic.
This guy could put a few more limbs on him that do different things. I don't know. There's not enough going on.
So they get there. They have to pole vault over the gate, and then they.
Oh, this is my favorite part of the movie.
Okay,
Dan.
talk about the pole vaulting.
This is great. So he's pole vaulting, right? He's skating up, skating hard with the pole vault, hits the pole vault, goes over the fence, no skates. There are no skates on his feet, and we were in a close-up of his feet for the jump over the fence. He leaves with skates, no skates, lands on skates. And I was like, good for you guys.
Oh, he had no skates just when he's flying.
Just when he was flying over, which is obviously a safety thing. The guy who's doing the pole vaulting, right, shouldn't be wearing skates. No. But don't show his feet then. Cut around the feet, maybe. I don't know. Just an idea.
Did you see the thing about the pole vaulter at the Olympics?
No, what happened?
So was
he wearing skates?
No. He goes for the thing, he goes over, and he's clearing it. He's coming down on the other side.
Yeah.
But his big dick hits the pole.
No! That's gotta be
his big erect dick knocks over the thing on the way down.
He got so excited that he was clearing it that he went 6 to midnight, and it just ruined his whole life. That's gotta be the only time in the history of the world where someone's like, man, I wish my dick wasn't this big. That's terrible. What a terrible. Can you imagine going to the Olympics and your dick ruins your day?
Well,
what are you going to do about that?
He's a legend now because all the girls are going to be like,
be like, oh, what do you do? He's like, well, I'm the guy in the Olympics that his big dick knocked off the pole vault.
So, just saying.
Oh, that's wild. No, I'm going to have to look that up, though. I got to see that. Sounds great.
They loose the dogs with the lasers on their heads, but they turn off the dogs. So
they're not lasers. They're just flashlights, Dan. They just it's just like the skates. They just tape more flashlights on dogs' heads. So it's very strange.
Doberman's heads. It's pretty funny. They free Darstar. The kids get in. So they free Darstar. They get in and they knock out a couple people, and then immediately they're in the main chamber. Like, we're not going to waste any time or sets. We're just
Don't worry about
right in that main chamber. And then it's just all hell breaks loose. And it's
pandemonium.
They fight the robot, and They fight the lady.
And they do the whip maneuver again, the slingshot. Great job bringing that back a second time. Good for you.
They set the evil scientist lady on fire.
How did they do that?
I think it was magic. I think it was magic.
Okay, I did not understand. She was grabbing on something, and all of a sudden she lifted her hands up, and they're on fire.
Yeah.
So I didn't follow that, but good for you.
I think Bodai set her on fire, actually.
Great job, Bodai.
And then the big evil guy, Stricter, picks up Daniel, and he kind of cradles him. It's really weird.
And then what does he say to him?
I don't know.
He says, "Is that your ball?" That's what he says to the kid as he's cradling him in his arms. It's the weirdest moment I've ever seen in my life. Is that your ball? As he's just holding this underage child in his arms. No, can't do it. You can't do it. I don't care what year it is. You can't do it.
It was weird.
It was
and then somehow the robot Terminac just kills the bad guy. He grabs the bad guy and kills him.
Grabs his arm and just won't let go of the arm, and eventually he dies. I don't know. I'm not sure if that's how any of that works, but thanks, robot.
And then Bodai, I wrote, dumb kid shoots robot. Who's a dumb kid?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Somebody shoots the robot, and then Bodai goes into, magical dust, and he blows the dam. And then that makes a thundercloud, and then they're like, water is free again.
Now, I have two questions. Question the first.
Yes.
How does that make a thundercloud?
I don't know. One big thundercloud, yeah.
Right, just one.
It was
one
big.
guy.
It was big.
No, it was big. I just don't understand. I don't understand how science works. I'll be the first to admit it, but I don't think that's how it works.
No, it's not, that's not how science works.
My second question is...
When dams crash, what they do is they send water down into the lower areas and destroy everything in their way.
Right, exactly. Yeah, they send a little flood action.
Oh, my
which
God.
is terrible.
If you want to see terrible things, there's been horrible flooding in Switzerland the last few months. Go watch that video.
Really?
And you're just like, it's horrible. And then they're cleaning it up, and there's just like mud, like a foot thick, and it's just one color. Yeah. It's just one color everywhere.
That's very sad.
It's very sad. It's horrible.
Way to bring down the podcast. That's depressing.
But we were watching this. No thundercloud.
No thundercloud. Okay, that's all we need to know. Was there a thundercloud in the video? No. So then my second question, Dan, is now they're like, water's free again.
Yeah.
But there's still a finite amount of water because humans destroyed the planet, right?
I mean, what they're saying is...
What are they saying, Dan?
If I remember correctly, in the book Dune at the end...
Okay.
The spoilers... I believe the Fremen had been saving water for so long that they finally let it loose, and then weather begins again on Dune. I think that's how. And there's which is, I guess, what they're going for here with the thundercloud. Yeah, I think that's the point. The point is that
I don't think there's that much. It's only been 41 years, Stan. Okay, I don't think there's that much water that it's going to start weather again on the planet.
I think the idea is that by releasing the water that they've kept trapped, it starts weather again on the planet. I think that's the point. Bodai is better, and then he rockets into space, but then the kids do the thing where they all sort of connect together, and I think Darstar is part of that this time.
He is part of that, but it doesn't mean anything.
Then they're like, he hasn't left us. He will always be with us.
But he did leave you. I watched him zoom off into space. I don't know what this circle of power is, but it's nothing. It doesn't do anything. Nope. There's no reason for it, so I don't get it.
I think it gives them pleasure.
Oh, okay. I'm on board.
Because
you talked me into
it. Because at one point they were saying that the bad guys were saying the problem with the sphere is it controls people, right? I think they said that.
Sure, something, yeah.
And, think about if you had a magical ball that just caused ecstasy. People would...
I'm thinking about it right now.
People would kind of do what that ball told them to do.
Hell yeah, I would. Sign me up. I'll do it right now.
So
Okay, that also explains the kiss because she's feeling sexual feelings for the first time, right? So they're like horny teenagers for the first time ever.
does she kiss Jason at the end too?
I guess I don't remember who kisses. No, I'm talking about the open-eyed stare kiss before they go on the adventure.
I don't think it was working on Jason.
The guy has no joy. How is that going to work on him? You know what I mean? Like, he's got nothing. I don't know.
But this movie has great stuff. It has weird lines. It has weird costumes.
Yeah.
It has a lot of skating. It has a weird robot. I love the robot. I loved all the skating. I loved the outfits. I loved Tire Town.
Yeah.
I loved the people marching. I wish there had been more, stomp stuff, like.
Sure.
I wish that had been the soundtrack.
I mean, they just do that the one time in the beginning and then never again.
Somebody should make a new soundtrack for this movie.
Okay. Or someone should redo this movie. We should do a reboot. Okay. I think it would be huge.
So the Babies 2. Let's talk to Mel Brooks.
Poor Mel.
Poor Mel. Anything else to say about this classic, right. Tony?
I enjoyed this movie quite a bit.
Yeah, it was good.
I had a great time.
It was good.
Yeah. Better than Speed 2.
This movie was... Oh, that was the point I was going to make. They jumped the bridge, just like in Speed 1, they jumped the bridge.
Just like in Speed. Yeah,
okay, let's get this bus going. You know what the bus would have done? That's what the bus would have done.
But somehow the bus lifts front tires first, so it like goes off some sort of a ramp. It doesn't make a lot of sense. That movie, incredible, don't care. You know what I mean? You can do whatever you want. You've earned so much goodwill up to that point in that movie that I let it slide, but it is ridiculous.
That movie earned so much goodwill that everybody gave him most everybody gave him, even I gave him a pass on that. You're just like, that is really stupid, but nope.
But I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm having so much fun right now.
Yeah, it's really true.
It's a good movie.
So Tony,
Classic.
Tell us about something. You've been on vacation for a couple of weeks. You probably watched some good stuff, so there's got to be something good you have
would
to talk
be
about.
Surprised. Did I talk about Bad Boys Ride or Die yet?
No, you just talked about
the fourth Bad Boys.
You talked about how you didn't like Twisters.
Nope, that's not what I talked about, Dan. I love Twisters. I would like to see Twisters again. I've been listening to the soundtrack of Twisters, even though it's country and I don't really like country. I'm just in a Twisters kind of mood. But I did also watch Bad Boys, and it was really good.
Oh, okay. Man, they're like...
I thought it was better than 3. I liked 3, and then I thought 4 was actually better than 3. I thought it was funnier. There's some weird camera work in it where we go first person for absolutely no reason, which is concerning. But again, similar to Speed, I let it slide because I'm having so much fun. But I do go, what are we doing? But it's a good movie. It's very fun. I had a good time.
I watched a movie for you, Tony.
You watched a movie for me? Was it Twisters?
It was not Twisters. Well, I mean, Twisters isn't available yet. So
not yet. I think it comes out sometime this month. I think it's dropping on VOD.
Within minutes. I watched Mission Impossible 7 or 8, Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Okay. How'd you feel? I still actually haven't gotten that far. It's too long.
Oh, it's too long?
It's like 2.5 hours.
Oh, it was like 2 hours and 45 minutes, I think.
Even longer.
Pretty easy watch. It's like, I've been watching all the old, the James Bond movies, the ones they made in the past 10, 15
Daniel
years.
Craig.
Because I'd never seen, I don't think, almost any of them. I've watched most of them now. And I love Rebecca.
Wait, you've never watched, you just mean the Daniel Craig era.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you meant like in general you'd never seen James Bond, and that was going to be a different conversation. Okay, continue, sorry.
I watched them all up to about Moonraker, and then a few after that, and then I kind of petered out of, just...
Did you see GoldenEye with Pierce Brosnan?
I don't know.
Do me a favor, watch GoldenEye with Pierce Brosnan. But continue.
It's still that, and those Daniel Craig ones, they're just like, they're really well made. Just like...
They're legit.
Really well made.
They're like... So don't expect that. GoldenEye, silly fun, right?
Silly
but it's
fun.
like a fun Bond movie. But the Daniel Craig ones are like legit action.
So they're really just nice to watch. And I found that in the Mission Impossible also. I don't think it was as good as the James Bond movies.
Sure.
And like you say, they did some weird stuff where they kind of had cameras attached to the outside of cars, and you'd be kind of...
Yeah.
There's like the one where they drive around... Oh, you haven't seen it, but there's this one scene where they do a big, long driving one. and it kind of goes into its second half, and then it's sort of handled differently in the second half, which is kind of weird. You're like, why is it being handled
jarring.
different?
Yeah, right. Really, like, why did we switch all
really
of a sudden?
Strange, but yeah, it was entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, I think in general, the last couple Mission Impossibles, they found like a nice stride where they're like, this is what we are, this is what we do, and we kind of get it.
Yeah,
you know,
because I saw the first one in theaters, and then I don't know if I saw the second one. Then I watched the one with
You're not missing much from the second one.
Yeah, I watched. Is the third one the one with what's his name that killed himself? It's the bad guy.
Did Philip Seymour Hoffman kill himself? I thought he died of drugs.
Well, yeah. Phil.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You take a bunch.
Philip.
You take a bunch of drugs and you die.
Sure.
It's not. I guess it's unintentional killing yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I take a lot of drugs all the time, and I'm living. You know what I'm saying? That's Philip Seymour Hoffman as the bad guy, which is wonderful.
It's interesting. It wasn't.
He's wonderful, is what I meant.
Yeah. He's amazing.
Yes.
You're like, oh, yeah, I can watch him all day. But it was kind of like.
Yeah,
it's a movie. Okay.
Yeah, and that's a J.J. Abrams film.
Oh.
So that's got a very Abramsy vibe to it, which I like them all. I enjoy them.
So is it after that they sort of picked up and sort of became what they were going to be?
Similar to how the Fast and the Furious kind of has a different vibe for the first three or whatever, and then finds itself in 4. Mission Impossible 3 is kind of it restarts and it's oh, okay, I see what we can do with this. And then 4, they're like, we got it.
Okay.
We get it. And then they just kind of skyrocket after
so
that.
I go watch 4. And I watched the first half of the first episode of the new Time Bandits, Taika Waititi's Time Bandits.
That's on my list.
On Apple. I really liked it. Really liked it. I thought it was super interesting. I thought there was some stuff that was good. I thought that it, because I love that movie as a kid, young adult. And so I was just like, I don't know, man. And I'm like, I don't know, man. It made sense. It felt, and I really liked the kid, even though other people have said the kid's incredibly annoying. I thought the kid was picture perfect.
What a sad thing to say about a kid actor, by the way. He's a child.
Well,
let's just let him be.
I think more like the character's annoying.
Okay. All right. Yeah,
and
I understand.
I did not find the character annoying at all. So.
All right.
I don't know. I'm gonna go back and watch some more of it.
I'm excited to watch it. I feel like it's been a minute since I've seen Lisa Kudrow in something, so I'm excited to see that again.
She's very much her, but
sure,
it's not perfect or anything. But I'm like, maybe after 3 or 4 episodes, they get an ensemble going between all the characters, and you're like, oh, this is working. So I have high hopes.
All right, I love it,
Tony. If you like our show, give us a thumbs up or subscribe or even leave a comment. That helps us with the algorithm. We're getting a lot of views on the John Carter Warlord of Mars. So,
any comments? No.
We had a couple comments, but I think they were from you and Todd, and maybe Michael Fleming.
Did I comment on it?
I don't know. So
I don't even remember. I black out sometimes.
A couple people I knew. I know Todd had a comment, and someone else I knew commented. So it's mostly just us talking to ourselves.
Good old Todd.
But we had 78 views on that one. So I'm like, okay.
Oh, wow. Good for that's huge for us.
And
that's depressing.
We got a thumbs down from someone, not surprisingly.
From John Carter?
Of course. When you do a movie,
I feel like we are pretty kind.
But when you do a movie like that, those kind of movies that are being reassessed by a lot of science fiction fans, you're always going to get a person to be like, "This movie's incredible! Shut up, you stupid commenters."
I feel like they must not have watched the whole thing because I feel like I liked it and I said that throughout the thing. So I think that they didn't watch the whole show and that's on them. How about that?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
So Tony, give us a movie. We need a movie. We're so out of movies. We haven't seen any movies in so long.
I'm almost copping out. If I'm being honest, this is almost a cop-out choice.
Uh-oh.
I will tell you that Todd sent me one that we are going to do, but not this week.
Okay.
But I did watch the trailer. Todd, if you are making it this far in the pod, I did watch the trailer and I lost my shit. So I'm very excited to do that. But it was so thematic. And you've already mentioned it today. And I was like, I need a fucking futuristic sports movie. That's what I wanted this to be. So we're going to watch Rollerball, but not the old one. We're going to watch the remake of Rollerball with my boy Chris Klein, and it's going to be great.
God, I think I watched it. I think I did.
I know that I've seen it, but I do not remember it at all.
I mean, have you ever seen the original, the James Caan?
I haven't seen. I think we watched the James Caan one before we went and saw this in theaters back in 2002, because that was my high school years.
Yeah.
So I think that I saw the both of them like 20 years ago.
The James Caan one is it's a movie.
It's cool. Yeah, it's like a cool movie. So I think I'm going to do the same thing this week where I watch them both.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that seems like a good idea. Okay, well, cool. We're going to do Rollerball. That'll be fun. I mean, it's because
it's going to be great.
Yeah, I've definitely seen it. Yeah, I've definitely seen it. And I think there are some really dopey things in it, but I think it's pretty fun too.
I think so too.
It's pretty fun.
It's got to be fun, right?
Let's just keep doing fun movies that you don't watch 10 minutes of and go like, I need to find something else to do for a little while.
Yeah, this will be good. I got a good feeling about it.
Well, great. Thanks everybody for coming along for the ride, and we'll be back talking about Rollerball next week on your YouTube channel.
All right, goodbye, everybody.
Hey, watch it!